Welcome to my channel where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election. You know that after the elections, those who are aggrieved were told to go to court. That is what the law provided. The Electoral Act provided for that, the Constitution provided for that. That nobody should disturb the peace of the country. Everybody should go to court. Because the court is believed to be the last hope of the common man, and the court is there to settle disputes between individuals and institutions and organizations. So they are there to settle disputes in an election. So everybody should go there. Why people are saying that everybody should go there? Because it is believed that the court is impartial. It is going to give justice, no matter whose ox is God. Now, there was a news that trended in the past few days. That news was an exclusive report by the Gazette newspaper, which claimed that Tinubu, the INEC declared president-elect from the 2023 presidential election, allegedly had a meeting with the head of the Supreme Court. We are talking about none other than the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Ariwoola, in London. That had the media buzzing with speculations and what have you. For whatever may be the case, we are going to look at that issue and see where it is headed and what it portends. Now, if you look at the headline of the report by Gazette, in fact, the headline says, CJN Ariwoola disguises on wheelchair in London hotel for secret meeting with Bola Tinubu. According to the report, Chief Justice Olukayode Ariwoola has been cited in London pretending to be physically challenged old man. People's Gazette learned in what Supreme Court sources said was a clandestine preparation for a meeting with President-elect Bola Tinubu. According to the Gazette report, Mr. Ariwoola's movement was exposed to Gazette as Tinubu was arriving in London for what has been claimed was a relaxation trip after a hectic campaign that preceded his declaration as Nigeria's president-elect last month. But Mr. Tinubu kept his trip to London secret until it was exposed on Wednesday afternoon by Sahara reporters, which said the trip was a medical emergency. The Gazette learned that Ariwoola departed Nigeria on March 11 via Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. He was pushed in a wheelchair through the terminals to board a British Airways flight. Our sources said that the sources of Gazette. Upon arrival in London, Mr. Ariwoola, 64, was also wheeled into a hotel downtown, where he has remained ever since. But immediately after checking into the hotel, Mr. Ariwoola abandoned his wheelchair and started moving around unaided. The Supreme Court head is not known with any physical disabilities. With Mr. Tinubu now in Europe, he will be meeting Mr. Ariwoola in a secret arrangement to discuss issues unknown to Nigeria, Gazette sources said. Quoting the Gazette, quoting the sources, the CJN deliberately left the country more than a week ahead of Tinubu to avoid suspicion about why both of them disappeared at once. A source familiar with the issue told Gazette. That is why he traveled secretly, and Tinubu also traveled secretly. Shortly after Tinubu's trip was reported, his media aides issued a statement saying he was going to be in Paris and London briefly before heading to Saudi Arabia for prayer rites. But many Nigerians expressed immediate doubts about the statement's credibility, especially as it was not volunteered before the trip was uncovered. The Gazette has temporarily withheld the CJN photos and the specific hotel he stayed to protect a source central to the story. A Supreme Court source said Ariwoola wanted to meet Tinubu to discuss issues that may arise from the budding legal challenge to the declaration as president-elect, to Tinubu's declaration as president-elect, including whether or not he should be worried about the petitions recently filed by opposition parties. The Gazette said Ariwoola's apparent affinity with Tinubu has continued despite the raging challenge to the declaration of Tinubu as president-elect and the ultimate role the Supreme Court is expected to play in the legal battle. Now, this raised a lot of concern. This story trended a lot and raised a lot of concern because Ariwoola is the head of the court that is the final court that will determine the fate of so many candidates, especially presidential candidates and their supporters. That it is being alleged or suspected that the head of the court that will hear the matter of those who are opposing the declaration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president-elect met with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu allegedly in secret. Of course, will get a lot of people worried. And the picture of the man himself on wheelchair trended a lot. Of course, even right now, it's still trending. Because what people are now doing is those who support the APC are now sharing the picture of Ariwoola when he came to observe his prayers in the mosque to show that he is hella hearty, that he was not on a wheelchair. But the problem is that the statement issued by the Supreme Court itself in response to this allegation by the Gazette was not very clear whether whether Ariwoola was the man on the wheelchair in the airport or being wheeled in a hotel. But what is followed is the usual APC propaganda. They were showing the man's picture in a mosque and coming out of the mosque. Okay? Without being in a wheelchair. But the Supreme Court has never denied that the man that was on the wheelchair was not Ariwoola. So that's one thing to be clear. They are yet to deny it, but the Supreme Court itself has issued a statement claiming that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not meet with the CJN. Now, but they admitted that the CJN traveled, but he traveled for medicals, to seek medical attention. It was not to go and meet Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu at all. Now, the Supreme Court, in the statement, distanced the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Olukayode Ariwoola, from a purported meeting with President-elect Bola Tinubu in London. There have been several reports claiming that the duo met in London. It was reported that the CJN disguised in a wheelchair and was wheeled into the airport to London. But debunking the reports, the Supreme Court spokesperson Festus Akande said the reports were false. He said though the CJN traveled out of the country, he was out for medical care, not for meeting with President-elect. Quote, the CJN has been in Nigeria and presided over meetings of the National Judicial Council held on 16th and 17th March, Akande told Premium Times. It is worthy of note that the Supreme Court was silent on the man on the wheelchair, whether it was Justice Ariwoola or not, given that he is not known for suffering from physical disability. Because I tried to study the statements to find out whether he's actually, or that picture was a Photoshop. Not much was said about it in that respect. But whatever may be the case, if he was there on a medical trip, of course he could be on a wheelchair because the situation he was when they were taking him could warrant that they have no choice but to use a wheelchair to wheel him to London. So that could be understandable too. Now, as I told you, this has been trending. Sharing a picture of the CJN observing prayers at the Abuja Mosque, the Minister of State, Labour and Employment, and the Director of Public Affairs of INEC declared President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Festus Keyamo, wrote, after attempting to blackmail and intimidate voters, they failed. Then they tried to blackmail and intimidate INEC, they failed. Now they want to blackmail and intimidate the judiciary. Going on in another tweet, he said, the card they are playing with the fake CJN story is to raise so much dust about the CJN, albeit unfounded and fake, so that when they get to the Supreme Court, they will ask him to recuse himself. They want to play the ethnic card up to the Supreme Court. That's Festus Keyamo. Now everything in Nigeria is being turned to ethnicity. Journalists are not supposed to report what they see or what they are imagined or what the sources tell them without it being colored with ethnicity. And for emphasis, the Gazette newspaper that carried that trending story of CJN Ariwoola on a wheelchair is not known. Is known to be owned by somebody who cannot say that he is obedient or that he supports peterobi. No. In fact, the person that owns that magazine or a newspaper or is alleged to own the newspaper is a northerner. It's a northern interest newspaper online. Because right now, what they are trying to do is play ethnic card. Anybody who supports P2B or who brought up anything must be Igbo, which is a lie from pit of hell. P2B has a national mandate, a national support for what he represents all over the country. And Festus Keyamo has been trying desperately to becloud the transparency of P2B and his acceptability with ethnicity. He struggled so hard to do that, even with religion. There was a place where he was alleging that P2B only won in areas that have Christians. that it Peterobi only won in areas that has Christians. But Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu also won mostly in areas where they have Muslims. If we look at it, many of the northern Muslims that voted for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is because he's a Muslim, and Asiwaju knows it. That was why he picked a Muslim running mate. Yes, that was why he picked a Muslim running mate. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the one that said, "It is my turn. It is Yoruba turn. You can Google it and go and see it. It's everywhere. It is my turn. It's Yoruba turn." That's using ethnic baiting to achieve his aim. Asiwaju used ethnicity and religion to good effect for him in this election. So it is unfair to say that only Christians voted for Peterobi. And I dare say, if Christians has all voted for Peterobi, he would have, despite everything you can think of, he would have even gotten more votes than he did. It's because Christians are liberals. Many of them voted for him. Many of them voted for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Many of them voted for atiku. But I can tell you for free that most Muslims in the north voted for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Atiku based on religion. That is for sure. So every time Festus Keyamo issues, they try to link P2B issue with ethnicity with religion. But they are the ones that place ethnicity and religion to the highest level. They are the peak of it. Of all the presidential candidates, P2B was the only one during the campaign that told people in public, "Do not vote for me because I'm from Southeast. Do not vote for me because I'm a Christian. Vote for me because I have capacity." Tinubu never said anything like that. And he couldn't have said it because that would have gone against the centrality of his campaign. Because his campaign was that it is Yoruba turn, it is my turn. He also, in a Ramadan lecture that was held in Osun State before the last Ramadan, during the last Ramadan, he did say it that Muslims should ensure that another Muslim succeeds Muhammad Buhari. So these are people who actually use religion. And strangely, it's a Christian that they are using to defend what they did effectively. And the Christian himself, if he's really a Christian, feels so comfortable being used to do that. Okay? So Facebook Keyamo is not right to try to say that they are using ethnic card. Nobody's using any ethnic card. Nobody's using any ethnic card. If the man met with, I'm not saying that the Ariwoola met with Tinubu. He has denied he didn't meet him. But if he met with him, if there's any proof that he met with him, it will be unfair to allow him to be part of those who will judge the case when he gets to the Supreme Court. That's a fact. If the P2B group, P2B legal team, and Atiku legal team could be able to confirm and present evidence that Ariwoola and Tinubu met in London, then there is no need for him to sit on the bench when the matters concerning Tinubu and those against his declaration as president-elect comes to the Supreme Court. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. God bless you and yours.